Welcome to Screen Junkies News. Actual breaking news today, Dan.
You're sitting there making charts, and then the world explodes.
Andy Signor screamed for us from his office.
Exactly.
Actual breaking news. Colin Trevorrow, the director of Jurassic World, among other things, is out of Star Wars Episode 9. Now, here is a quick statement via Variety from Lucasfilm. Quote, Lucasfilm and Colin Trevorrow have mutually chosen to part ways on Star Wars Episode 9. Colin has been a wonderful collaborator throughout the development process, but we have come to the conclusion that our visions for the project differ. We wish Colin the best and will be sharing more information about the film soon.
I.e. who the director's going to be.
I.e. who the director's going to
Exactly.
be. Hollywood Reporter was saying that these were some script concerns.
Yeah, supposedly, you know, they brought in a new screenwriter earlier this summer to work on the script. They've been working with Trevorrow on the script to get it right. Obviously, they were bringing in somebody new, and, you know, the big question is with Book of Henry, which was not just a financial failure, but a lot of people looked at that movie and said, really, that's who is going to be doing the next Star Wars movie? A lot of people are saying, was that the reason? Is this the reason? I'm sure, as always, more details are going to come out. But, you know, really, if you look at the whole situation, it's not just Trevorrow being out from this. This is now 2 Star Wars movies in as many months that have lost their directors, either in production or deep into pre-production.
Yes.
What's going on over there?
What's going on over there? And here's the thing. I will say this. Book of Henry, for those of you that don't know, is an independent film that Colin Trevorrow made after Jurassic World. And to some degree, it was him trying to do a little return to form. And unfortunately, it was not critically well received. No. I will say that I myself truly believed that they would give a little bit of breathing room between the release of that film and now, and then ultimately drop him from the project. After I saw that film, I thought that Lucasfilm would probably lose faith, especially after what happened with the Han Solo movie. They want to make sure that they have the right director. At least it's not 8 months into production.
Apparently they don't want to make sure that they have the right director. For me, this is the problem with setting a date for a movie and saying, like, this is the day that we're going, and we have to go now. We have to get into pre-production. We got to go. We got to shoot. We got to go now. We got to just get a director. Get one that's they did a good work. Get that guy. And it just seems like, particularly with Star Wars, even Marvel. With Marvel, they did it a little bit. Thor: The Dark World had a director. Then they lost the director. They had, you know, and it just. I think they just need to slow down and take a breath, because, like, when you lose the ball like this and then you're into production and the director's not working, like, you shouldn't go into production without knowing that you have a director who shares the vision of the movie that you want to execute. You should be figuring that out while you're shooting the movie. Well,
sure. And the good news is, I mean, and that's the thing, is, like, it did not happen as deep into the production as the Han Solo movie. And I'm not saying, by the way, this is not saying, like, this is great. This is not great. It's not hugely, I will confess, surprising to me. I did think that this would ultimately happen. I'm curious to see who they'll come in to replace. Are they going to get another industry vet, as they did with Han Solo, somebody that Kathleen Kennedy has a close relationship with? Is that sort of the move at this point? Do they go back to JJ?
That's my prediction. I will put, and I'm probably wrong, but my prediction is they bring JJ in from the wings. He knows how to work with Kathleen Kennedy. He's already done a Star Wars movie, not just a Star Wars movie, but an episode, which I think that there's so much more writing on. Like, this particularly Episode 9, we're led to believe, will be what wraps up the story of the characters that we know and love. Obviously, we wish it could have been Leia, but Leia, you know, we hear we'll kind of get some finality with in this movie. But Luke, his saga, his story, I feel like there's more pressure on that, perhaps even than with the prequels, setting up Darth Vader. As far as, like, you have to pay off the story and you have to do it well. So I think you can't get this wrong. And again, you have a date for this movie. This movie is going to be in theaters in 21 months. It's going to be done. And now there's no director.
And you know what's amazing to me in terms of what you're talking about with the vision is that Rian Johnson, who could not be, I don't know if you've seen his films, his 3 previous films, Looper is probably the most well-known.
Sure.
Very different aesthetically, very, very different aesthetically than J.J. Abrams, which is great.
Yeah.
And then B, your typical sort of franchise film. And so with him at the helm of Episode 8, which we're going to see in a few short months, I'm very excited. I'm curious. I have been told, like, people are hearing that they gave him a ton of creative leeway. Yeah. So I really think the good news is they were looking for directors with vision, but they weren't clear on what that vision exactly was and on the same page for some of these movies.
Well, I think that Trevorrow was always, you looked at J.J. Abrams, okay, Rian Johnson, very strong, distinct, clear vision. Trevorrow was always the odd man out because he had done Safety Not Guaranteed and Jurassic World. And they did Jurassic World and they're like, you got Star Wars. And it's like, but, you know, my own issues with Jurassic World aside, just directorially, that movie to me doesn't say like, oh, he's got a very distinct style. He has a very distinct tone. I think that movie was a bit of a mess. It didn't really have a voice directorially. So Trevorrow was always the odd one out. And it's just, to me, for them to find somebody that they're going to bring in from outside the family at this point and be able to take this over.
Yeah.
And this isn't, you know, Han Solo is kind of its own thing. It's a prequel, if you will. It's its own story. This is tied in so intricately with everything else. It's hard for me to figure out how they're going to get a guy. Either Rian Johnson maybe stays on.
Exactly.
They bring J.J. Abrams back. It's going to be so hard to bring somebody in completely from outside of the fold to come in and take this movie over cold.
I don't disagree, and I think that after all of these shakeups, Kathleen Kennedy in particular is going to be wanting to look for people that she feels comfortable with, that she feels confident with, that she knows that can execute a Star Wars movie that works within their framework, to your point. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here in terms of these other solo movies and what kind of directors they choose to work with. But I have to agree. I think it would go to Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams at this point. Be shocked if it's somebody else.
Yeah.
But we will keep you updated as things evolve. What do you think? Were you shocked? Who do you hope to come in and take over this franchise? And what in the world?
They've got one shot. They have one shot at getting the story right. Delay it. Find the guy or the girl or whomever. Get it right. Don't rush it.
At this point, they're just saying, I am not going to throw away my shot.
Yeah, you have one shot to get this right.
Shot.
Do it right.
Let's do it right.
Do it right.
We want a great Star Wars movie. We hope to see a great Star Wars movie. I did forget Bjorn my Porg for this segment, so I apologize for that.
You're Bjorn. You're Bjorg.
Bjorn my Bjorg.
The Bjorg, yes.
We will see you next time here on Screen Junkies News, no doubt with some updates. How long do you think it'll take? A couple of weeks?
They're going to have to.
Couple of days?
I mean, the production schedule dictates they got to get somebody fast. I'd say probably within a couple of weeks they're going to have to close the deal, and who knows. I doubt this happened overnight. They may have already been talking to people, but yeah, they're going to have to move fast or else it's just going to spin out of control. And they don't want this overshadowing The Last Jedi because that's this whole other thing. So,
and I wouldn't be surprised if there's an update even when we're done with this video, but we will let you know as soon as we know. You guys let us know what you think in the comments below, and we will see you next time here on Screen Junkies News.